So there are three kinds of people who are watching this video right now. One, who believes that God exists. Second, who believes that God does not exist. And the third one, the people who are confused whether they should believe that God exists or they should believe that God does not exist. So I am considering you as a neutral case because you are not on any side. Neither you are going to say that God exists nor you are going to say that God does not exist. So you are confused, but still watch this video till the end. And in this video, now we are going to talk about atheists. Who are atheists? Why they are atheists? And why atheism don't believe that God exists. And at last, I am going to ask one question to all the atheists who is watching this video right now. So before we begin, I want you all to write your opinion in the comment section. What you believe. Do you believe that God exists or you believe that God does not exist? Or maybe you are the confused ones who still want to know that they should believe in God or they should not believe in God. So let's begin. And here is the question number one. Who are atheists? Basically, atheists are the person who does not believe in the existence of God. What does it mean? It means that they don't believe that God exists. Okay. But here is one question. If you believe that God does not exist, I'm not going to ask you for any proof. I'm just asking you one question. If you believe that God does not exist, is it what you know or is it what you believe? There is a difference between knowing something and believing something. And if you believe that God does not exist, on what basis you are believing that God does not exist? In simple words, whenever we believe in something, it means we have a base of it. We believe on anything based upon something. So we have discussed that the people who does not believe in the existence of God are atheists. Okay. But here is question number two. Why they are atheists? So before understanding why they are atheists, first we need to understand what is identity. Because if we are not able to understand what does identity means and what I call as identity, which is some kind of similar to the world, but whatever the world says about identity, I don't agree with that. I have my own research, I have my own thoughts, I have my own opinions, and I am just going to share my view upon identity. So firstly, I want to tell you that atheist is an identity. Or if I want to become more specific, I will say atheist is an sub-identity. So why I am calling it as sub-identity? Atheist is an sub-identity because the person who is an atheist is also having his or her own identity. And the original core identity of a person consists of so many sub-identities. For example, if you are a female who is watching this video, you can be a mother, you can be a sister, you can be a student, you can be a housewife, but you are one. And you have so many sub-identities, like for your son or daughter, you are their mother. And if you are studying in school, then you are a student. If you are in college, you are a student. And if you are a sports person, you are a player. If you are playing for national, you are a national player. If you are playing for international, you are an international player. So now we are going to talk about the most important question of this video. What is identity? And why you need to know about identity? Because your identity is also made by people who are around you, made by the environment, where do you live, or made by your surroundings, where you surround yourself. So before you understand identity, you need to understand two terms. One is exposure and another one is belief. An exposure is basically the contact that you made with someone or something. That's it. Exposure simply means when you are exposing yourself, which means you are coming into contact with someone or something. It can be your environment, it can be your surrounding, it can be your father, it can be your mother, it can be your friends, it can be anything. So whatever you are exposing to is your exposure. It means that you have already exposed yourself with so many people, with so many surroundings. And now what happens when you expose yourself which is outside, when you expose yourself to someone or a surrounding or a situation, your mind gets some data and information. Please note this thing. Whenever you have exposure, whenever you have any exposure, so that exposure is giving your mind some data, some information, and now it will process it, and based upon this information, based upon this data, which is basically the input. So whatever your exposure provides you is the input for your mind. Got it? Now what happens when your mind uses this input to process and create some information which it wants to remember for a longer period of time? This is known as belief. Now here we comes to a very important topic. What is a belief? Because your mind is filled with a lot of beliefs which may be true, which may be false, but whatever it is, your mind is filled with so many beliefs. According to me, a belief is something which you accept as truth. That's it. Whatever you accept as truth is belief. Your mind believes that, oh, this is true. It means I need to keep it in my mind. I don't think so your mind is having your own mind. So according to me, a belief is something which you accept as truth. That's it. Your mind believes in something that, oh, this is true. This is false. This is okay. This is not okay. If you believe that money is real, then your mind accepts that, okay, this is money. This is real. I need to believe that this is money. Maybe this is not the truth. Maybe money is just a promise on paper. It can be anything. So now the question arises here. If belief is something which you accept as truth, then what is truth? What is truth? This question is for you. Go and find the answer of this question after this video. What is truth? So now as you have understood that there are two terms, one is exposure and one is belief, now I can tell you about identity. My definition of identity. According to me, identity is the collection of beliefs created by your exposure which a person accepts as me. That's it. But what do I mean by this? I simply mean that identity is the collection of all your beliefs that you believe are true, and these are created by the exposure, and you accept this as me, which means you accept yourself as nothing other than the collection of your beliefs. So as now I have told you about the identities and the sub-identities, let me remind you about sub-identities. A person is having their one core identity, and one core identity leads to so many sub-identities. For example, if you accept yourself, for example, I am accepting myself as ROHIT SONI, so it means this is my one identity. Now I am the son of my parents, I am the college student, I am the player in life, in the game of life, I am a content creator, I am a person who tells people my way of thinking and help them in learning how to think. So these all are my sub-identities. Now coming back to the point, as we have understood that atheist is an sub-identity or atheist is an identity in a general way. So how that identity was made? I think now it's clear to you that because the person who is an atheist came to the exposure of those surroundings, of those people, which made their belief that yes, God does not exist. So is it the fault of the atheist that they believe God does not exist, or is it the fault of their environment? Because you have already heard about this quote so many times that your environment shapes your reality. We are going to discuss about this in some of the other video, how your environment shapes your reality, how your environment shapes your identity. So now the question that is coming in my mind, as the people who are atheist believes in science, it's not necessary that they believe in science, but I'm taking the majority. People who are real atheists, they say that I believe whatever science says, and science doesn't prove that God exists. Okay, so I just have one question for all my atheist people. If tomorrow science by anyhow proves that God exists, what you are going to do? Are you going to believe in the fact that God exists, or you are going to defend your identity of an atheist? So now we have two categories in atheist as well. One, the atheists who are seeking the truth, and the one who are just living with their identity of atheist. Okay. So if we are going to talk about the people who are atheist and seeking the truth, now this video is going to give you some perception, some perspective that is going to break your mind. So now the people who are watching me in this video, maybe they are theist, maybe they are atheist, it doesn't matter. All of you are going to ask me one question. You tell us, does God exist? And I have one simple question for you all. Before asking yourself or before asking me, does God exist? Ask the first question. What is existence? What is existence? What do you mean by existence? What do you mean when you say that something exists? Now I am asking you, does this world exist? Do you exist? Do whatever you see around yourself exist? And what if whatever you see, everything that you see around yourself is just an illusion? And if that is illusion, what is reality? What is the truth? Why you have got this life? And the biggest question that fears every human, whenever I ask them, who are you? Let me repeat this for you. Who are you? Let me make this thing clear to you. You are not this body. You are not this mind. You are not this intellect as well. Then who are you? Now if some of you is having the curiosity that who am I? It means that they are going to introspect inside and ask themselves, am I this body? And from here, not from here, from here you are going to receive the answer, no. Then you are going to ask, am I this mind? Then again, this voice is going to answer, no. And when you are going to ask the last question, who am I? This is the beginning of the change. Where? The change in your mind. Now you are going to search for the answer, and this is the beginning of something which is known as the path of knowledge, or which we known as spirituality. So if I ask you who are you, right now the answers that are coming in your mind is maybe your name, your designation, or your perspective on who you are. And that is completely fine, because right now you are living by having a collection of beliefs in your mind. And now you need to introspect in order to get the answer of who am I. So right now the question isn't does God exist or not. The real question we have right now here, what is truth? The question isn't does God exist or God does not exist. That is another question. The question right now here is, what is truth? Go and find the truth. Whatever is looking around you, is this truth? You who accepts yourself as male, boy, girl, female, or any other, are you someone who is actually what you believe, or there is some other reality? go and find the truth. Okay, so you have decided that now you are going to find the truth. But one question arises in your mind: how? How you are going to find this truth? Let me help you in doing that. Okay, just listen to me carefully for now. Whenever you are going to find truth, you will have some options. For example, if you pick any topic, for example, if you pick what is money, you have some answers. Okay, just see which option you can neglect or unseen. What do I mean by this? Just keep the word neglect here. If you can neglect or ignore any answer, it means it is not real. Because whatever is truth, you can't neglect it. So keep asking yourself every time you get answer, can I neglect it? And if you can neglect that answer, that simply means this is not truth. And by doing this repeatedly, you are going to reach at a point where you have something in front of your eyes. And when you have that something in front of your eyes, which you have found by neglecting everything, and now you don't have any option, you cannot ignore this, you cannot unseen this, you cannot neglect it, you cannot break it further. And when you find it, you are not left with any question. This is the truth. This is what everyone is looking for. And sadly, people spend their whole life and not able to find this truth. So it totally depends upon your curiosity, how curious you are about knowing the truth of this life, about the truth of everything. And let me tell you one interesting fact. So the people who are theists are the people who believes in the existence of God. So those people who believes in the existence of God, is this also not a belief? I have one question for you all. Do you believe that God exists? Or do you know that God exists? Let me repeat this question for you once again. Do you believe that God exists? Or you know that God exists? And here is the most interesting part of this video. The day you will find this truth which you are looking for, the day you find this truth is the day the question, does God exist, does not exist anymore.
ROHIT, SONI originals, they try to keep me down. Yeah, I rose up from the ashes, now I'm here to claim the crown. They were sleeping on the vision, I was making moves in silence. Now the whole world's gonna witness my defiant rise. Call this the comeback season, moving with that high velocity. Built a new trajectory, a lyrical monstrosity. This the comeback, yeah, the wins begin. We ain't looking back, this the comeback season, let the wins begin.